The stock Gaggia Classic is a great machine. This, on the other hand, this is a must-have. I made a simple Reddit post. I built them both. This is the Endgame mods for Gaggia Classics. I'm Dule Rabbit, and I'm gonna take you down this rabbit hole that goes a little bit deep. Straight off the bat, let's debunk this price myth, because it gets complicated real quick. This is what I call base mods. Your PC board, the wiring, everything for the plumbing, and the screen. This one came from Gaggimate. This one came from DIY EFI. Gaggiuino has 2 vendors that sell the mod. Gaggimate has 1. In my case, I ordered this from Gaggimate, came pretty quickly, and it cost me, to my doorstep, $3.20 Canadian. I ordered from Peak Coffee, and this is in the era when it took 6-7 months to receive your mod. It changed. I can't vouch for it because my second order was from DIY EFI. I had to do the wiring myself. This is where the complications start. I thought I'm gonna be saving some money. The conversion rate from pound to Canadian dollar made it cost $3.50 on my card. And then it came to the post office and I got slapped the tax man, import duty, and it ballooned to $400. It depends on where you live. It depends on the shipping, the handling, the credit card, fee. On paper, they are essentially the same, and if I may just call them $200 US, but definitely calculate in all those extra costs. As you can see, I installed both of them in these machines. I even made this Gaggiuino run on the wiring inside this one. Why is there this rumor that the Gaggimate is somehow a USB stick that you plug in? No, it's not. It's literally the same difficulty, but I might have an explanation for that. This is a Gen 3 V4. You see all those letters and numbers? Well, that means that there's a Gen 1 somewhere, and that's what they call the Lego build, the OG mod. So I'm assuming that when people type in, install Gaggiuino on the Gaggia Classic, web browser just, for whatever reason shows them that Lego build, and they're like, oh, hell to the no. I'm not doing soldering and all like those chips and stuff and black pill and whatever. And you look at this, and you're like, oh, there's some simple wires you plug in and that's it? Yeah, we're talking about first generation. These are the latest ones. Difficulty level, it's the same. That's the fact. Don't let anybody tell you any different. The Alka pump is dumb vibrating solenoid. It doesn't know if the signal is coming from an industrial chip or a smart chip, or if the Wi-Fi is talking to Bluetooth, or you have keyboard. Physics is physics. Both chips pulse the dimmer. They pulse the pump, the chips read the pressure, and the chips control the flow at the end of the day. So now you finish your installation, plugged in your screens, and you're ready to rock and roll. But before I start them, let me talk about the screens. They solve different problems in a different way. So if you choose to go headless mod, you need to get this headless module that's going to be mounted probably in the back of the machine. It kind of hides it. I guess you can hide the screen somewhere in the back and pretend it's not there. But at the end of the day, different approaches to different problems. Circle, square, whatever works for you. I wanted to show you the boot up times. I disconnected the boilers. Now the caveat is I'm in the basement and I don't want to blow any fuses down here. The first race is on. You're watching, I'm flipping the switch. Gaggiuino is loading. It's booted up. Gaggimate. There we go. Winner is Gaggiuino. I'm gonna do this as an Apple Android comparison. This is very streamlined for usability. I'm married, my wife is there, it's a wife approval. This looks more streamlined. We have a Nest thermostat, so there's like a lot of familiarities of this shape at least, and the interface is more welcoming to a non-techie or a semi-techie person. Everything else that you need to control is on your phone, tablet, laptop. It's Apple-ish, it's very friendly, easy to use. Gaggiuino is Android. You have full control. This is a cockpit. This is all the info and you're the pilot. Man, this is pure gold. Yours to pick. I think the question is like, what type of person are you at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning when you want to do your espresso shot? Are you eager to like at any given moment just like have all this info and just like be like, oh my God, this is so cool? Or you just want to go and press play and call it a day? This one gives you a lot more output and might be overwhelming. Seeing how it is, yours to pick. Okay, let's just show you the cockpit. The Gaggiuino screen looks like, you know, science, graphs, data. It's dense. You know, you have the live graphing, the pressure curves, the temperature deltas. It's in real time. It talks to the person that likes that. If you're a data nerd, that's like what you dream of. It tells you literally everything that's happening in the moment you press brew. The Gaggimate looks like a product that's meant to be there. Even though it doesn't scream, I'm a mod, it can feel like, oh, I'm just like a thing that you put on. The same way the Nest thermostat comes instead of your regular thermostat and just looks different. It's very streamlined. It's very simple and it's easy to use in the morning. It doesn't overwhelm you with data. It shows you the temperature and the pressure and calls it a day. Yours is just to press play. Both mods feature profiles. In the Gaggiuino, you can create a profile. The screen is your cockpit, you're in the front seat, and you're letting that baby fly. Gaggimate, on the other hand, you're relying on that secondary tech. Streamlining requires solving a problem in a different way, and that's how they do it. Gaggiuino does it all on the screen. Finally, I need to mention this steam power. I see people fighting online constantly about like Gaggiuino is better, Gaggimate doesn't have it, it has it. You know, just stop it. They both have steam assist. They're named differently. At the end of the day, they both pulse the pump to inject the water. The machine is doing that steam assist. Regular Gaggia Classic would be choking right now. Compared to stock Gaggia, it's like fire-breathing dragons against a match. I will comfortably call it a tie. You guys remember when I mentioned in the cost part of this video how these are the base models? Well, in Gaggimate case, that's the base model. Talking about performance, we need to talk about the other options that Gaggiuino offers. Number one, load cells. That's the scales that you can wire. They're going to be under the drip tray. It's going to be integrated scales into your machine, telling the Gaggiuino when to stop, when you reach the weight. Number two, it has an option to buy a LED light. The LED light sits inside and shoots light in the tank. It tells you the tank level. It warns you when it's off. It blinks. It has different ways to communicate with you. That increases the performance of the mod. Gaggimate has the LED light project in the works as far as I know, and those are the two upgrades that you can have. I just want to add one more thing. The Gaggiuino has an option to order this block that screws into the back of the boiler. I don't know if the performance is any more better than a T-fitting, but it definitely looks a lot better inside. Gaggimate works with a Bluetooth scale. This is the Themis Ultra. It pairs, connects. Gaggiuino can also seamlessly connect to this and do the same thing. So now you have more flexibility with this. To conclude, both work with Bluetooth scales. Let me throw in an opinion. You can have a regular old, I don't know what's called, the Weightman, the most popular barista scale on Amazon. I had that one a year ago. Both of them have something called predictive scales. They're gonna calculate by the flow how much came out. And a year ago, like that function worked perfectly. The Bluetooth scales, I don't know if they even existed or there was one that was like $300. Do they work without them? Sure they do. You can weigh it with the cheap $15 one, or you can get the integrated scales that are not that much more expensive than the cheap one, but it already communicates with it. So that's just my 2 cents. Something you need to consider. You need 3D printed parts. Case, screen enclosure, it puts the price up. It's not fair to include that in a total price. Yes, these are the base prices. Depending on where you live, if you don't have a 3D printer, stuff can kind of stack up pretty quickly. Keep in mind, you need 3D printed stuff. Home Assistant integration. They both are capable of it. I, on the other hand, use my voice as the Home Assistant. Switches are always flipped as on, and I just tell Google to turn it on. I'm ready to make my espresso shot. I work in a restaurant. My hours are random. I can't rely on a 7 o'clock boot up preheating time and then I don't use it because I came super late. I drive my kids to school and I just go back to bed. Like I said, they can both be integrated into your Home Assistant features. It can be done, but it also can be simplified. I had a chat with both developers, 0-bit for Gaggiuino and NMD swap for Gaggimate. I asked them some questions that I wanted answered. I was not that deep in all the drama that was boiling over. It's unnecessary. And this is where the Gaggiuino Gaggimate kind of story comes together. And I want to tell it to you. Obviously, this is the pioneer. Everything that is a building block for the Gaggimate was paved, like I said, by the Gaggiuino. There is records on Discord where the developer of Gaggimate wanted to integrate a circular screen to his machine. In the meantime, the Gaggiuino project went closed source. It's not a steal, it's not a fork of the project, it's not malicious, it was just necessity. Like he asked for the beta to see if he can do anything with it. And then again, to play the devil's advocate for Gaggiuino, you know, you're battling people, copying it, sellers selling crap in your name, and that's just not cool. Everything is clear cut as far as that Discord story goes. You know, the road branched out and someone went down that different route. So let's talk about philosophy now. Famously, you know, Gaggiuino went closed source and everybody went crazy. Me included, okay? A year ago, I had the old school screen. I actually bought, I believe it's the same screen, but it just like didn't have the same software. Yada, yada. I immediately, you know, right to repair. I'm a tinkerer. That's like a slap in the face, driven by community. I didn't go deep in it, but it was just like, God damn, let me sell it, you know. And I sold mine, strictly out of that reason. I'm not even joking. Here I am now. Like, did anything change? I don't like that it went closed source. I stand by that fact. Again, I can play devil's advocate. The fact that you're the pioneer is being copied and being stolen. And I just want to hand out this question out to you. Do you think if you had a project that you poured your knowledge, your life, and your passion into, and you really wanted to make money, at the end of the day, I don't know if anybody wants to do anything for free, would you be okay with somebody stealing from you, selling different kits, you dealing with the aftermath? I wouldn't. I was never in that position. I can only imagine. I can understand where the necessity for that is. Code is baked into the screen. If you break the screen, unfortunately, you can't just buy a random screen off of Amazon or AliExpress. You'll need to order it from the vendors. You can probably go back to when they were open source, buy a screen, just load that on. It is closed source for better or for worse. Did it lose some buyers? Of course it did. Did it create a different player? Of course it did. Now we have closed source versus open source, or so it may seem. Gaggimate is not fully open source. You're not allowed to sell it, redistribute it. That's how those licenses work. The truest of the true open sources, none of them are. I think we have to put a full stop on this. The Gaggimate dev has maybe more power as he has a company that can go after players if they try fiddling with Gaggimate in that way. 0-bit, because he already went to closed source. When you're between a rock and a hard place, that's what you need to do. I'll leave it at that. To explore a little bit more on the code thing, this is the most sensitive part of the video. I just want to set the record straight. There's like a online narrative that Gaggiuino had a kill code, render useless the screens if somebody tried to fix their own Gaggiuino their own way, buying a screen off AliExpress, Amazon, so on and so forth. According to Zerobit, there was an issue with the supplier and manufacturer. There was a bug. They halted all sales. He fixed the code and the sales were up and running. I'm just stating what I have been said, and I don't have a reason to not trust anybody. I'm going into this completely honest. I went straight to the source. That's what I found out. To conclude this portion of the video, I just want to give my 2 cents, my opinion, my thoughts. Uncertainty is in the air. Nothing is 100%. Gaggimate might go closed source. Nobody knows that. They can go out of business. Nobody knows that too. This is now how this was Android and this was Apple. Now we're flipping the script. This effectively becomes Apple and this becomes Android. Here you are in the walled garden. I like them both. Don't get it twisted. I can change the facts. I can present it to you, and on those facts you can decide. I want to talk about a funny one. For some people it's probably serious, but like I'm just looking at it from my perspective. This one I have to talk about from my side, like personally my side. I'm Eastern European, I'm from Serbia. I lived for a while and worked in Germany. I'm living in Canada now. So I'm like the bridge between like the Eastern European, Western kind of world. Sprinkle on top of that my ADHD and you're gonna have a no nonsense, everything can explode tomorrow, and this ADHD feature that's like need to be very righteous and no nonsense from people. It's very bad for me if you waste my time. My time is the most expensive thing in this world. And if you waste that, that triggers me. That's, I would assume, the Gaggiuino community. They are the thinkers. They're the OGs. They're the high-end nerds. Remember, this was a Lego build. It required a lot of soldering. So the level of expertise that was needed for the Gaggiuino to work in a Gaggia Classic was super high. They brought it down super low. But the remnants on the Discord, when people come in and say like, hey, what's a brew wire? Just as an example. I can understand where it can drive people crazy. You know, punching above your class. Maybe it's not for you. But now, in the same way, I work in a restaurant, I work with people. Sometimes you just need to eat poop. You are a business, you're selling stuff, you're making money. And this is not just Zerobit. The problem is the Discord features a lot of people. The dissociation is real. Like you don't have, you have no idea. Like you know what I'm talking about? I was there, I got help. I did not have any of the experiences that are roaming online. If it doesn't make sense to you after 1 or 2 tries, don't ask me. What's the future now? Where are we headed and what does it mean to us consumers? I asked the Gaggiuino dev. Basically, they're improving the code, working on the bugs, stabilizing everything. New features, when they come, they'll be announced. I asked specifically if there is any plan, maybe working with Gaggia or any other manufacturer to have Gaggiuino featured in it. There's no plans for that. Gaggimate received the same questions. They're still improving. The code is being improved. LED is going to be a new feature that's going to come out. Improvements, updates, working on the code. And then I followed up with, are you going to embed it in a machine? They actually had a project to release an espresso machine that's going to kind of feature the same thing as the Gaggimate. You don't have to mod your Gaggia. You can, you know, if you don't want to build your own, both of them, there's going to be a machine that you can buy off the shelf. Wait a minute. What about Gaggimate? If you start getting successful with that thing, what the hell? Since this is going to be working in that commercial machine, that means if I can translate it to a normal person, we might be the test subject, so to say, and it's going to be kind of complementary to each other. It's going to reinforce the project. So these are the futures of both projects. Now you're asking yourself, yo, Rabbit, who got knocked out? Where's the scoreboard? What's happening here? Who won? I do not want to sound like a BS guy, like, yo, we're all friends, everybody's a winner in my place, everybody participates. The thing is, my job was to lay it out. It's on the table. You are the one that needs to pick and choose. I live with both. There's features that I appreciate from the Gaggimate, there's features that I appreciate from the Gaggiuino. Who's the clear winner? At the end of the day, they control the Gaggia Classic. I appreciate you watching this. My name is Dule Rabbit. Keep tinkering, and I'll see you in the next one.